You know what I love about trading? Every day is different, and every day there's an opportunity. And I've got a few to share with you. I'm John Zidar. This is On Top and Hot, and today is Wednesday. It is March 26th. Now, as we usually do, we're going to talk about hot penny stocks. I'm a day trader, and I primarily trade stocks under $5. And I'm always looking for stocks that have heat, that have potential to make us some money. And I've got a couple I want to share with you today. We've got two stocks that both have hot charts. That's how I find my hot penny stocks. I find a hot chart first, a chart that has a bullish pattern. Normally it's my 200 squeeze, that atypical breakout. You know the one. You got the 200 MA coming down, the 200 Hall coming up, price in the middle getting squeezed, and it wants to escape. And normally it escapes up and out. Both of them look like that at 230. I haven't actually looked at the chart since then, so I'm sure something may have changed, but I still think we've got something to consider because we've got two hot catalysts with both of the companies we're looking at. So let's start this off by looking at Beeline Holdings, ticker BLNE. This was a hot stock this morning. I mean pre-market. She took off, but she has come right back down to where she started. I think we could see a bounce back up, and it is a 200 squeeze. So this is an American company based out of Rhode Island. She finished the day at about $2.09, and she was up a little over 11%. Now this is a hot penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ. Doesn't matter what market you're on. As long as you're under $5, you are a penny stock. But they're not all equal. No way. The penny stocks on the major exchange have a lot of benefits compared to the OTC penny stocks. First off, all transactions are free. You don't have to pay to buy your shares. You don't have to pay to sell your shares. You get to trade pre-market, aftermarket. Some of the biggest runners I've ever seen happen in these periods of time because there are no halts for volatility. So when a stock starts to run, there's nothing there to stop it. You never get that opportunity with OTC penny stocks. There's a lot more money and a lot more volume up on the major exchange compared to the OTC, and there's a lot more rules, which is great. That keeps the companies honest. That keeps our investments safe. So what is Beeline Holdings all about? They are a fintech mortgage company. Fintech meaning financial technology, and they are now using AI to do all of this. Jumping into the news, they tell us back in February on the 26th, Beeline and Cred Evolve partnered to expand disruptive mortgage platform using that AI. On the 18th of March, Beeline's AI sales agent, Bob 2, delivers 6 times more leads than human chat, revolutionizing mortgage sales at near zero cost. Now think about that. What mortgage company wouldn't want 6 times more leads at virtually no extra cost? That's hot. Then on the 20th of March, Beeline announces public launch of Magic Blocks, an AI-powered sales agent platform. And then the news, which I think is the big catalyst. Let's just dive on into this news. Beeline CEO invests an additional $900,000 in their Series G offering, priced at 205% premium to the market. Since December, the CEO has invested over $4 million into this company. That's some serious investment. Somebody believes something's going to happen to this company soon. They tell us here that not only has the CEO done this, but so has the co-founder Nick Liuzza. They have invested an additional $900,000 into the company's ongoing Series G convertible equity offering. The investment was made at $5.10 a share. Look at the price, $2.03. So they bought these shares at more than double the price. Why? I can't tell you why. I'm just glad they did. Now you can see all these purchases over here in a Form 4. Form 4s are filed whenever an insider acquires or disposes of the company's stock. When we come over here, we go straight to the center. You normally don't see a big old line like that. There's normally one line. You want to see a P in here. That's a purchase. If you see an S, it's a sale. Well, all of these are purchases. The 20th, all of these are in the same day. Look at that. Every single one of these, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, All these shares bought the same day. He now has a total of 1.6 million shares that he is holding. So there's our catalyst right there, folks. The CEO and the co-founder have been pouring money into this company since December, over $4 million. Now they've got AI, now they've got a product out there, and it's doing its job very well at zero cost to the people that are going to use it. That's going to make this a hot product. So what was the relative volume around Beeline today? God, boom! That's an explosion. On the NASDAQ, she's only been doing 66,000 shares a day as an average over the last 30 days. Today, she did over 40 million. That's like 10, 20, 36, 700. That's like 600, 700 times her normal volume. So we're talking 60 to 70,000% gains on her volume. She is kicking butt right now. Share structure for BLNE. We've got ourselves a low float. I didn't know this. Outstanding share count, we're at 7.2 million. Insiders don't own a whole bunch, which is kind of surprising. Maybe this hasn't been adjusted yet, although it says it has. Well, here they say that they own 651,000 shares. So something's not right here. But those were Series G. We deal with Series A common stock. So those probably could have been a different type of stock. In either case, whatever it is, we, the investors, have a low float. We're under 10 million. That is a low float. We're down here at 6.5 million. So this thing can fly, right? We just did 40 million shares today, and there's only 6.5 million out there. So that means every share had to sell about 5-6 times over today. That helps the price to move. That's supply and demand. So when people want this stock and it starts to do over 10 million shares, that's when this thing is going to start to run. So watch when the volume comes in on this. Market cap, we're at about 13 million. Financials, the question always is, are they making any money? Yeah, but it's been falling over the last 4 years. We got to put 3 zeros behind any of these numbers on these charts. So this is 14 million we did back in 2020, dropped to 12, up to almost 14 again, and now we're down to 10.5. The only thing we can say is we've been in the black all this time. We are pulling in profits, but of course the profits have been falling. Quarterlies, my goodness, that is all over the place. A year ago, we were roughly 800,000, which is roughly where we're at right now, 800,000. But look at every quarter in between. 7.5, 2.5, 3 million. But here's the funny thing. We are making more profit now with the least amount of revenues. We have the most profit. Interesting. Balance sheet for the company. Remembering those 3 zeros over here? We got $310,000 in the bank. That's what I call cash and cash equivalents. Total assets for the company, we're a little over 16 million. Liabilities are a little more than that, 18.6 million. So we are holding stockholder deficit in this company, 2.4 million. So we don't get any profits yet. We're actually holding deficit for the company. Taking a look at the disclosures. Well, I showed you that Form 4 and that 8K is about the news. So there really isn't anything else here to look at. We could look at the SC13D. That means a new investor came in. Somebody bought enough shares to own a percentage of the company, which now makes them an insider. This is Nicholas Raylan. There you go. This is the co-founder. He's not actually an insider, but he just bought himself 38% of the company. So the CEO and this guy have really been loading up on this company. So contrary to what we just saw, 657,000 shares the insiders own, I don't think that number's right. I think what's just happened here recently has not been updated. So there's our catalyst. We have a lot of interest from the top people in this company. The co-founder, think of that. The founder is like being a parent. This company is their baby. You know they're not going to do anything to screw it up. They want the best for this company. And then you've got the CEO who gets all the credit or the blame for what happens here. everything is looking good. So let's go take a look at the chart for BLNE. Hey, you recognize this playground? You should. It's the only one I ever bring you to. This is my free trading platform, Thinkorswim. You can only get it from Schwab. So we are looking at Beeline Holdings, ticker BLNE. This is a 1-day, 1-year chart, and I just learned something. The company had a reverse stock split March 12th. They did a 1 in 10. And that chart looks strange to me. I mean, actually, it looks normal, but that's not normally what they do anymore. If you watch my videos, we talk about reverse stock splits often. What they do now, after a reverse stock split, instead of giving us a big green bar that shows us the price increase, this was a 1 in 10, so it jumped the price from 66 cents up to $6.60. That makes sense. Well, normally you don't see a big green bar anymore. What they do is they multiply the entire chart by the ratio of the split. In this case, it is 10. So this 52-week low here of 57 cents, I will bet you look, by next week, this low bubble is going to read $5.70, and that green bar will be gone. But as it is, it's here right now, so we're going to read it. So we have a 52-week low of 57 cents. Our new 52-week high after that reverse stock split, $6.63. Of course, she fell after the reverse stock split. That is par for the course. People wake up in the morning who were unaware it was going to happen, see all their shares are missing, their new average is way up, and they're angry. And they sell out of spite, even at a loss. And that's what you see here. A lot of anger sells down, down, down until she hit the 20-day MA. That became her floor. She bounced on that 3 times. Right now, it looks like she is bouncing up and over it. We had lots of volume come in today, and all of our oscillators are lukewarm. Nothing's cold, nothing's falling, but nothing's actually climbing yet. They're kind of all going sideways. Take a look at our 6-month 4-hour view. Well, isn't that interesting? We got a 52-week low of 51 cents, but our 6-month low is 45 cents. How can you have a lower 6-month low than a 52-week low? In either case, going over here from that 663, she did fall down here. She has found the floor. You can see she has bounced off of this numerous times, and today she broke off of it. She jumped here from about $1.80 up to $4.40 before falling back, trying to hang on to the 20. She couldn't do it, and she's fallen back down to that floor again. Lots of volume today, but again, all of our oscillators are cool, warm, kind of tough to tell. They're all going sideways with maybe a hint of climb. Now, what's missing on this chart, folks? Our 200s, both of them. We don't have a red 200 MA. We don't have a purple-blue 200 Hall. So we can't have a 200 squeeze on this chart. But we do have those on the 1 hour, and we do have a 200 squeeze. Coming down from that 663, she fell down to the 200 MA here. Hit that floor underneath the 200, bounced off of it, jumped up over top of it, all pre-market, and she has come back down. Now the setup, let's see if you can see this. Tough to see there, but there's our red 200. It is climbing. Most of the 200 squeezes we look at, the 200 is falling. A climbing one just makes it easier. That's not a problem. Here's our 200 Hall. It is falling. Our price is bouncing on it right now 3 times. That's great. It is respecting it, and it does. You will see the price respect the 200 Hall a lot because the 200 Hall is a friend to the price. The 200 MA takes 200 days of prices, averages them together, and bink, you get a price on the chart, a point on the chart. Well, the 200 Hall does the same thing, but it takes into consideration current prices. It's considerate to the price. It's being friendly. And we see the 200 Hall help the price move often. So right now, I see this as a setup to bounce off the 200 Hall, get on top of the 50, which will be a perfect 200 squeeze. The price on the 50 between both 200s. When that 200 Hall turns up, when she turns up, it's going to ignite this price. and she should launch to and through the 200. That's my prediction. Now, right now, we're down here at about $2. She needs to get up to about $2.08 to get into position. Once that 200 haul turns up, and it's very close to doing it, that's when she should take off. Now, she would go from about 208 over the 200, which is at 232, to let's say about 240, 245, somewhere around there. But because she exerted so much energy running to the 200, breaking through the 200, and going past it, she's tired. She's going to have to pull back and rest. So chances are she's going to fall back to the 200, maybe under the 200 to the 50, bounce around a little bit, getting her breath, and then look for a run. Our oscillators, again, they're all going sideways, a little bit cool, a little bit warm. Taking a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. We've got a trend change just about ready to happen. Look at our 200. She's rolling downhill. Right in this vicinity, she's going flat. And when did the breakout happen? When she was going flat. That's when breakouts happen, folks, not when the 200 is falling. It may bust through it, but I guarantee you it's going to come back down. 98% of breakouts over a falling 200 fail to break out. But once they go flat, you can get some huge runs, even a change of trend, which is what it looks like we've got here. She broke out from $1.80 to $4.43, all pre-market. You won't get that with OTC. And then pre-market, she fell back down to $2.90, which is where she opened up at the bell. But she wasn't done falling. She went all the way down to the 200. Bounced on that, could not hold it, fell down to our floor, right? And off of that, she is trying to come back up. Now let's get some perspective on this. I've got my Fibonacci. I'm going to poke the top up here, the high bubble, and I'm going to come down to the very start of this run. These are Fibonacci supports and resistances. These we can trade on. These the price is going to respect. Even though they are not attached to any historical price points, they are valid because they're Fibonacci magical numbers. We don't understand why they work, but we see the science of Fibonacci all over in nature and all sorts of things. We know it works, we just don't know why. And it works in the financials as well. So these are very strong supports that the price will work towards. And what I'm looking for is for it to get back to the center. This is the 50% mark right there, halfway point of the entire run. When you have a run, we expect the price to come back down. A healthy pullback is to the 50% mark and no lower. If it stays above the 50% or just up underneath it, cleaving to it like a magnet, chances are it's going to continue its climb and go on. But if it comes underneath the 50, chances are it's going to fall until it hits a strong MA, just like we did here, and then we start looking for a bounce. Well, she dipped even further down, and right now she is trying to come up. So right now we are down here at about $2. We're looking for to push all the way up to that 50% mark of $3.15. So we've got a breakout that should take it to $2.40, $2.45 before she pulls back and bounces off of the 200. And then we're going to look for to get up to $3.15. That would be another sell point. If she can get up over top of this, she should get some strength and start to push harder. BLNE. She deserves to be on your watch list. You see volume coming in. Remember, she's got a real decent float. We're down there at about 6 million. And if she does as many shares as she did today, she could take off and run, and you could make some money. All right, let's go take a look at another one completely different than this one. We're now looking at Charlie's Holdings, better known to his friends as CHUC, ticker CHUC. Now, this is an American company based out of California, finishing the day almost at 6 cents and almost 50% up today. Now, this is a hot OTC penny stock. She's on the middle tier of the OTC. They call it the QB. We like to refer to it as the better tier. It's better than the pinks. The pinks have no validated information. Once you get to the QB, you have to give us audited financials, which you don't get on the pinks. You got to start giving us filings, which you don't get on the pinks. Plus, there is a minimum bid price for QB. Most don't know that, but the price cannot fall under a penny. If they go under a penny for too long, they will be thrown down to the pinks and have to start all over again. Now, the best thing about Charlie's Holdings is she is penny stock exempt. This is great, folks. This tells us she is not a risky startup company. The actual definition of penny stock exempt says that they have been in business for 3 to 5 years, have had millions of dollars in assets or revenues during that time period, and they've kept up with their filings and financials. In other words, they've proven to us that they're responsible. They're not haphazard companies like so many of them are down there at the OTC. So this is looking good in that respect. Plus, we've got all the other green ticks, a verified profile, a verified transfer agent, and they tell us they have independent directors. Now, the only reason you list independent directors on this website is when you're serious about uplisting. Now, maybe they just uplisted from the pink to the QB, and I'm not aware of it, but they may have aspirations to go to the QX or up to a major exchange. A little more due diligence will tell you what they're doing. So what is Charlie Holdings about? Charlie Holdings is a company that makes vapes. You know, vapes for cigarettes. They have all different kinds of vapes, including these big ones, which I call puffers. These puffers, this particular one has 25,000 puffs on it. It comes with electronic gadgets, so you can set it for low, medium, and high voltage, depending on how strong you like it. These go for anywhere from $10 to $30, depending on where you buy them. But I'm really not talking about these. I'm talking about all the illegal ones that are out there right now in the stores. These are everywhere, and everybody is smoking them. But here's the kicker. None of them are legal in America. Not one of them. And most of them, if not all of them, that are on the market right now are coming from China and other countries. We had a piece of news today, which is a first for the United States, a first for the FDA, and a first for a vape company. Charlie's Holdings, an industry leader in the premium vapor product space, today announced that the Center for Tobacco Products of the U.S. FDA informed the company that 11 of Charlie's best-selling flavored Pacha disposable pre-market tobacco applications have received acceptance filings. The FDA has received nearly 27 million PMTAs for electronic nicotine delivery system products and has made determinations already on more than 99% of them. However, the FDA has authorized fewer than 3 dozen tobacco and menthol flavored e-cigarette products and devices. Did you hear that? Out of all the vapes in the country, only about 3 dozen have been approved, and they're only in flavors of tobacco and menthol. That's it. To date, no company in the world has received FDA marketing order for flavored, non-tobacco or non-menthol disposable vape products until now. 10 of the 11 of the PMTAs for which Charlie received FDA acceptance filings this week are for Charlie's best-selling flavored Pacha disposable brands. That's them right there. That's them right there. Folks, this is a first. I used to vape flavored vapes. And then a few years ago, THC vapes came out. But again, a lot of these were coming from foreign countries. Well, one came out that had vitamin E in it. You may remember there was a lot of news about people's lungs being damaged by these vapes. Well, all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, the FDA comes along and says no more flavored vapes, as if the flavor had anything to do with it. It doesn't even come into the picture. But since then, nobody is allowed to have a disposable vape. Now, if you have those refillables, you can get any flavor you want. But when it comes to disposables, any flavors out there right now are illegal. This is the only company right now that I know of that has received 11 approvals for flavored vapes. While Charlie continues to push forward aggressively with its PMTA submitted tobacco products, the company is also pursuing nicotine substitute products that are not subject to the FDA's PMT review process. And I am aware of companies out there right now that have put patents out for nicotine equivalent products but are not nicotine, so the FDA has no say over them. Charlie's has invested heavily over the last 30 months on the development and testing of the nicotine substitute category. The company's nicotine substitute-based vape liquids are not made from or derived from tobacco, nor do they contain nicotine from any source, so the FDA will have no say over them. And they'll probably be just as good. So what was the relative volume around CHUC today? Oh, that's not too good. All right, as we know, down here on the OTC, we don't get a whole lot of shares. We've got over 12,000 companies down here on the OTC, and today we did 4.3 billion shares. Now, I know that sounds like a lot to you, but before COVID, we were doing 60 to 70 billion shares a day. So 4.3 billion is not a lot. We've been under 5 billion for a couple years and just can't wake up the market. So we were doing about, let's call it 50,000 shares a day over the last 30 days. Today we did less than 10,000 shares. And we were up 50%. Share structure for CHUC. We've got about 250 million shares outstanding. The insiders own most of them, 184 million, which gives us less than half of what they got, 73 million. It's not a great float, but it's not bad. And it's nice to see the insiders holding a lot of shares in this company. Taking a look at the financials. The important question. Yes, this is a vape company making money. They were doing about 16.5 million 4 years ago, and we're closing in on 16.5 million right now. But the years in between, they were way up. Profits, well, they've been moving just like the relative volume has. They've been up and they're back down, but things are looking good. Taking a look at the quarterlies. We got here 2, 5, 3, 2, 1. Oh, they're on a downslope right now. Yeah, they were kicking from 2.7 million up to 5 million. And from there, they've just been falling downhill for the last 3 quarters. At the end of September, we should have another quarterly report out, maybe even the annual right now. As of September, they did 1.6 million and only got to keep 630,000. Looking at the balance sheet for the company, we've got about 600,000 in the bank, 4.2 million in assets, little more in liabilities, 5.4. So again, we are holding some stockholder deficit here of 1.2 million. We've got revenues, we've got profit, and we've got a first for the USA. Folks, there are a lot of people out there that don't want to smoke tobacco vapes. I didn't quit cigarettes because I liked cigarettes. I quit cigarettes for a lot of reasons, and one of them was they taste terrible. All these other flavors are a heck of a lot better than tobacco, and I don't want menthol. That ain't a flavor as far as I'm concerned. Let's take a look now at the disclosures for CHUC. We've got an 8K here. That came out with the 10Q. So we do have a new filing here that just came out in November. Wait a minute. Hold on. I may have jumped the gun there a little. Where did we go? Yeah, see right there. That was the last one we saw. So they should have one coming out here anytime. So that's what's going on, folks. They have got 11 flavors that have been approved that are not tobacco and not menthol. No other company does in the country. Nobody else in the world has gotten approval from the FDA. So any of those big fat puffers that you're seeing anywhere out in the stores, none of them are legal. And they are going to be pulled off of the shelf sooner or later. But that's a big job, folks. They've got a lot of work to do. All right, let's go take a look at the chart for CHUC. All right, we're back at the playground. We're taking a look at CHUC, ticker CHUC. This is Charlie's Holdings. Got her opened up to a 1-day, 1-year chart, and she too has been in a gradual downtrend most of the year. Now, it was back in June, she had her 52-week high of 20 cents. Going into that tailspin, she hit a 52-week low here in March of just over 3 cents. But what we've got here on our yearly chart is a 200 squeeze. We've got the price already on the launch pad, sitting on the 50 right now. Big bar of excitement. 200 haul underneath, just starting to go level, 200 MA at the top. Both of them closing in on the price. It is setting up right now. We're waiting for that 200 haul to turn up. Once it does, the price should blast off to and through the 200. We have an imminent crossover right now on our PPO. Our ADX, our green line, is all the way at the top with our red line falling. MACD has a crossover. Big green bar just came into the picture, and our RSI is climbing fast, just hitting 60. The yearly chart looks really juicy. Let's take a look at our 6-month 4-hour view. So now we've got a high of about 18, 19 cents 6 months ago. Went into that downtrend, and would you believe we have another atypical breakout, the 200 squeeze happening right now. Your 200 MA on the top falling. The 200 haul underneath, it is now starting to climb, right? It just turned blue. Now, what do I always tell you when it turns blue? There is an abrupt change in the price. Look, as soon as it turned blue, boom, we had a burst. She jumped from the 9 to and through the 200, just as I expect. I also expect a pullback, which is exactly what she did. She came back down, still over the 9, still looking like she's ready to climb, and I expect her to go over that 200 and continue to push up. This is looking good. Our PPO is climbing. Our ADX is still in strength. Our MACD is very strong. Green bars are accumulating, and our RSI is flatlined right now, but it isn't falling. Take a look at our 20-day 1-hour view. So we've got a high that hit today. That was 6.5 cents. Bouncing off of this low of 3 cents, you're looking at 100% gains there, but 50% today. But what do we got on the chart? Another 200 squeeze. This one has happened. Here's our 200 haul, turned blue. When did that big bar come into the picture, folks? You have all these little bars, beep, 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 looking good. She's going in the right direction. Purple, then it turns blue. Boom! We have ignition, folks. She launched from underneath the 200 to and through it. Yes, she pulled back to the strong 50, bounced off of that, went right back to the 9, over the 200, back down, lots of volatility. That's okay. We don't mind the bounces because she's bouncing uphill, looking very strong. Volume was very light today, and she had 50% gains. So if volume comes in, this could move strong. Our PPO is climbing strong. Our ADX is getting stronger on the short chart. Our MACD is very strong, climbing hard. And our RSI, it's cooled off a little bit. She's down there at 58. Let's take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. Well, she's on a steady incline, isn't she? She is climbing, starting here from 3.5 cents, hitting that high. Low bubble in one corner, high bubble in the other. That's a perfect chart. She is climbing. Look how small the bars are. Bars are getting bigger. We're starting to get bounces. Bars are getting bigger. She's floating on the 9. Our 20 is climbing. All of our oscillators are climbing. This looks like it's ready for continuation, folks. I would be putting CHUC on my watch list. I don't know if she'll make it to pennybois, but she should make it to yours, and she's going to make it to mine. CHUC, Charlie's Holdings, and BLNE, 2 stocks I think you should be watching for tomorrow. And if you got time, browse through some charts. See if you can find some 200 squeezes yourself. You may find something hotter than I found. Thanks for your time, folks. Remember, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks.